Well, it's Thursday, June 23rd, 2022, and it's a great day for the Second Amendment in America. The U.S. Supreme Court has just released their finding, their ruling on the New York Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin concealed carry case. The finding is nuclear. Nuclear. First, the Supreme Court in a 6-3 ruling. And the three, quote, liberal justices all voted in the dissent. But it's still 6-3, right? The ruling says that the proper cause criteria to issue a concealed carry permit is unconstitutional. It further says that our right to carry arms extends outside the home into public spaces. That's the second major one. The third one, which is the one that I was waiting for, says that the two-step analysis that the lower appeals courts, federal courts, were using is no longer valid. The history and text is the only criteria. Means balancing, impact balancing on a core constitutional right is not allowed. Which, man, it is so exciting, because what that means is that government, any government, federal, state, or local, cannot come back and say, because we're going to save lives, or because we think this is going to happen, we need to restrict this constitutional right. The Supreme Court has said, you can't do that. You can't do that. A right is a right. And the most extreme reason that government has can only be used, and it must be within in the history and text of the Constitution. Now, the state of New York, the governor there is, I mean, all of the governors of these 7 states that have these proper cause may issue kinds of concealed carry strategies they're apoplectic. They're trying to figure out, how can we not abide by this? That's really what they're going to try to do. How can we make it so onerous? Well, that's just shooting yourself in the foot, because may issue no longer applies. So if they have a concealed carry strategy, it's going to have objective criteria, and that criteria cannot make it so difficult that a regular citizen can't do it, right? So they can't get stupid, right? That, and again, this was for concealed carry. Now the level of scrutiny, which is the highest level, is now going to be applied through just a gaggle of lawsuits against states and jurisdictions for things like bans on certain types of firearms, ammunition, any kind of restriction that restricts our right under the Second Amendment is going to get hammered with lawsuits. Moms Demand Action and the Brady campaign and all those guys, they've been trying to figure out a way around this, and there just isn't any, short of just ignoring the ruling and saying, well, we don't even care if we get sued. We'll just, because the Supreme Court does not have enforcement. That belongs to the executive through the Department of Justice, right? So, I mean, if states like New York, as I said earlier, they're not going to take this laying down. And what kind of civil disobedience might happen in the streets now? from these people. So we'll see. We'll see how fast the impact of this major decision will have on our lives as Second Amendment people. I mean, I'm looking at California. I have family in California. I'd love to see them to be able to roam around the cabin like I do here in the free state of Idaho. Hawaii, right? By the way, the gun rights for Hawaiian citizens was taken away by imperialist people who wanted to own the island, and they went after the queen and took her off the throne. And then there was a rebellion, and then they disarmed everybody in the state of Hawaii. So there's some racism behind those restrictions. But I'm just terribly excited. I might not be showing it right now. I'm terribly excited about this ruling. I read all 135 pages, and those three things were the three things that stuck in my head. I read the dissent from Breyer, and then I read Alito's smackdown. It's like, Breyer said, well, all the dead kids. And Alito said, that has nothing to do with dead kids, because none of this has anything to do with a person who chooses to commit a crime. They're criminals. And I was just thinking, man. So all these emotional arguments. Now, what is going to happen with the legislation that's coming out of the Senate right now going to get voted on? My question is anything inside that bill that's coming out of the Senate now at risk of being affected and ruled unconstitutional? I don't know, but we'll see. But I just want to end with this now. A lot of my YouTube aficionados have already been out there, but I had to read the thing first just so I could get a sense of it, not necessarily be the first one. But pass this on. It's great news. I've been reading all the news stories. It's the liberal press is just like clutching their pearls and wringing their hands and talking about how the world is going to end and stupid stuff. But we should be happy. As always, if you like the content, subscribe, hit that bell icon, forward this information to someone that you know who might enjoy this, especially this good news. As always, thanks for watching, and wherever you can, carry on.